individual felt in any one of these proceedings before the court, past, present, and future, it is just a coincidence, and the author is not legally responsible. This is a legal requirement. That is the reason I put this disclaimer. When we talk about the bank frauds, being attended many PDMs with our great organization, ACFE Hyderabad chapter, we have come across very good speakers who most of them talking about more on the cyber security and cyber crimes in the banks or other organizations. But here, my attempt is to put some examples or some of my experience on the often crimes which are not cyber crimes but are conventional bank frauds or economic offenses. So it does not mean that in this particular crimes people are not using any cyber. They are also using some modus operation in the cyber way, but the general feature of the case which I am going to refer today is about conventional bank fraud on an economic offense in which multidisciplinary agencies issues are involved. It also includes laws sustained by the bank. It also includes the other laws in India, violation of. So, CBI being a central agency or a premier investigating agency have the power to consider various aspects of crime or law violation. But the main focus will be on the investigation of the fraud in the penal laws, that is IPC, CRPC, Evidence Act, and other laws actually. So it is like a police investigation. So one thing I would like to mention is this, we may use this word investigation for various purposes. But very technically, being a legal student, I would like to say that investigation word can be utilized only when a police or other statutory agency do an investigation on the basis of an FIR registered before a court under Section 154 of the CRPC, and the case is pending. In all other cases, we can use verification or screening or examination, etc. This is a small suggestion because if we use the word investigation in another public document, saying that I have investigated this, then obviously if anything go to the court, the defense lawyer will ask you, you have mentioned that you have done the investigation. Is it in the capacity of a police officer? So you will be in a bad situation. So I'm just sharing that information to you. We need to worry about telling about investigation when we are talking on our discussion. But when you put it in a document, never use the word investigation. At this point of time, I'll ask a small question which can be answered in the last. It is a very interesting question which came into my mind. I don't know. Why CFE, Certified Fraud Examiner, is called CFE, not Certified Fraud Investigator. So I'm just putting this for your thoughts, for brainstorming. But please see that the answer or your opinion come only in the last of this session, during the Q&A time actually. So this is the background. Serious concern that Indian banks are sustaining huge losses. We are seeing that a lot of NPA happened for the banks, etc., etc. We are hearing from the reports recently big scams have happened. So this was a serious concern, and all the agencies, government agencies also thinking about total coordination of monitoring these type of frauds happening in the bank and to have a proactive actions required. This, as Sarath Kumar Sab told, investigation is a teamwork. So even if any agency like CBI or ED or anybody is investigating, I can say that from my experience, I got the support and all coordination from banks and all other agencies actually. So it is a teamwork. So I cannot claim that my success probably happened in the in the cases investigated is not due to my efforts, but a tumor. It is the real wording of Sharat Sir, our Honorable President today morning, that we should see that, we should always think that we are doing a teamwork. You may be a leader just like a football, but to win the match, you need to have a full coordination, all the 11 players. The second thing is this has resulted in billions of dollars of loss. If you talk about the loss sustained by the banks in India and also in abroad, and the NP reported from the banks, if you see all the Ministry of Finance banking department reports, suggest that it is very alarming way NP is happening to the frauds. This has obviously affected the working or operational results of the bank. I'm sure that many of the chartered accountants who are the CFOs of the organization or the banks will be worried about how things are affecting a P&L account. They may not be thinking whether this accused is prosecuted or not. That not may be the concern. They will be thinking that how it's going to affect our profit, as going to our working result. So it is a very important aspect of the economy that we should prevent the NPA happening in the bank. Apart from the cyber crimes happening, it also contributes a very major portion of frauds. Economic offences are also increasing in the bank. Now, this is a very important question which I am already answering. I always ask people, do you know that who can investigate the bank frauds? Many people who contact me, they said that, sir, we had such a problem happen. Maybe on the personal capacity, they call me being a friend, and they ask me, sir, who can investigate? This is my problem. This is what happened. This is the fraud happened. Can you CBI take an investigation when an individual had sustained a loss? So I think that this particular slide will, to some extent, answer many of the doubts about this. I can tell, as far as the investigation of the agency is concerned, I'm not talking about the fraud investigation done by the corporates or the internal investigation. By way of a complaint to the local police station of the jurisdiction of the state police. Say you lost something through a cyber crime. Immediately you should approach the local police station instead of approaching the cyber police. You can also put a word to the cyber police, but immediately you should inform this to the local jurisdiction police station. A sub-inspector of police or an inspector of police, etc., station house officer, to be informed. After that, you have to inform the bank, etc., etc. But the first complaint for example, if you have a loss of 50,000, even if you approach the CBI or an economic offence wing of the state police, nobody will respond to it because it's a small amount involved. So the first appraisal will be the criminal administration of criminal justice on the grassroots level is done by the local police station of the jurisdiction. Complaint to the economic offence wing of the state police. Suppose if the bank sustain a very big amount like 1 crore, 1.5 crore, already there are certain standard has been fixed on what level of amount the case to be investigated by the state police, etc., which I don't want to mention here. It is a purely official thing. But you can say that if the loss is comparatively a good amount, like it is better that informing the state police as well as a complaint copy should be filed with the economic offence wing of the state police. If you go to the Google and search for your area in this area, you can find the office, contact numbers, etc. You can send an information. The third one is ACFE branches of Central Bureau of Investigation of the state. Up to certain big amount, I'm not very sure about what is the details, about 10 crore. Earlier it used to be 3 crore and about 3 crore to the bank fraud cell. Now I think it has been increased to much more amount by the ACB. Every state is having a minimum 1 or 2 branch of Central Bureau of Investigation in the state. So CBI can file a complaint with the anti-corruption branches, and if an individual found as a whistleblower, he can inform the bank vigilance department, and through that cases can be registered with the ACB branches of the CBI. In Hyderabad, for example, there is an ACB branch in Hyderabad, but the bank fraud cell of EOW wing of CBI is located in various places like Delhi, Bombay, Calcutta, Bangalore, like that. So I think there are 4 or 5 branches specializing. These generally investigated very high value bank frauds of Indian jurisdiction. In the case of any PMLA, that is the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, if the bank think that this is a PMLA case, not an anti-corruption or an economic offences case, then it is better to refer the matter to the ED of the jurisdiction area. Apart from all that, we cannot ignore the most valuable contribution done by the vigilance departments of various public sector undertakings, private sector undertakings, including the banks. Banks are having a wonderful vigilance department who are obviously are the whistleblowers of these type of frauds happening in the bank. They will be getting information from various sources apart from the audits conducted by the internal auditors, etc. So the whistleblower happen, and they normally, before filing a report to the CBI, they normally conduct an internal inquiry or verification by the bank's internal vigilance department. And nowadays, for certain amount, it needs to be done by a forensic auditor, qualified for forensic auditor set by the Reserve Bank of India. A lot of audit firms like Sharad Sir firms or many of the chartered account firms are eligible, and Indian Bank Association also invite the firms for paneling of such a great job. So all these organizations, individuals, even a normal citizen is responsible for the bank frauds. But the process of administration of criminal justice has to be done through the first 4 points, 4 agencies, and the 5th is very important for a bank, being the internal vigilance department. The purpose of the PDM, what I'm considering is talking about not different type of fraud, because there are a lot. Believe me, there are a lot of type of modus operandi happening in the banks or other financial institutions. So for the purpose of my timing, I am taking 2 major common types of bank frauds reported to the CBI by the banks in India or detected during various process or referred by the government of India or referred by the judicial courts like High Court, Supreme Court, or by any other agency like Department of Finance. Certain complaints coming under the senior fraud, serious fraud investigation officer. They are also very active. So our economy is safe in the hands of investigators. So I am taking these 2 cases and as model operandi and the investigation done by the investigating agency for the understanding for the learning of the people. I'm sure that some of these participants will be from the bank. They will be definitely help in this. And we are also doing programs for the banks to investigate, to be more very specific, going to more deep. But here, what I'm trying to do is a fair view of what is happening in the bank fraud investigation. This is an effort to help professionals to understand the gray areas in the banking and for preventing the illegal practice of frauds for the benefit of the banks. One is to detect and to do the punitive actions, or prevention, which I always talk prevention. Before anything happens, we should prevent. And or for the corporate, so that ethical banking practice or ethical business is followed. Today, every management institutions are conducting programs on ethical business. What happened is a businessman, in the enthusiasm of doing business, carried away by some of the fraudsters who will tell that this way we can do it, we can make a lot of money. And because of the age, because of the social condition, people are carried away by this thing. So they are not criminal, they are not born criminal, but they are being carried away by some wrong practices start with, but later it will become a very serious offense. So this is one of the area we should do lot of what is called awareness program to be done by every individual in this country, because there is no excuse for the ignorance of law. I'm taking first type of bank fraud, which is foreign currency non-resident deposit account frauds in various nationalized banks in India. I just want to check it that I am audible to everybody.
Yes,
Am
sir.
I
You
audible
are.
to everybody?
Yeah, it's
Yes, sir.
audible.
So the background of this case is due to the liberal economic policy in India started by the somewhere in 1991-92, because of the bad recession happened in Southeast Asia, the then Prime Minister, our Honorable PM, Mr. Narasimha Rao and his government have started a liberal economic policy. A part of it, banks and RBI have taken a lot of contribution into that. So, for example, in the case of currency convertibility, fully convertibility, in this situation, the investment or the deposit of foreign currencies by the NRI who are earning huge amount of money in the foreign country, they may send some part of the funds to their relatives or some part of, but the major chunk of the amount is deposited in the foreign banks because of the safety and security. Because they are living in Hong Kong, they think that better to put it HSBC or some other bank. So this particular declaration of the government has motivated non-resident Indians, particularly from Middle East, Hong Kong, Europe, United States. They started investing, depositing money in the Indian banks. So they can keep two choices. One is they can keep it in foreign currency non-resident account, which is the amount will be remain in foreign currency. And another one is called a non-resident, non-repeatable. Earlier it started with non-repeatable. Later on they amended the laws are repeatable. So they can, once it out the maturity, they can again repatriate it back to their currency and can repatriate the money back to their country. So these are the portfolios. It was very famous at that point of time, NRNR rupee account. Everybody will be remembering about that. Particularly people used to invest. Even we, when we came back from some foreign assignment, we used to put money in NRNR account because it gets a lot of interest. And we don't want to keep it in foreign currency, but there is no meaning in that. So these type of two portfolios become very, very famous. And all the banks started canvassing deposits from the foreign NRIs. So the problem is when we wanted to reach the NRIs, the communication was not that big or good like today. Today you can speak. I can speak by friends who studied with me in England within no time through the WhatsApp. I can just see the time factor. So I should not disturb in the night. So everything can be happen in seconds. The documents can be passed through different communication. But at that point of time, that is, say the later part of the 1990s, the communication was very difficult. If you want to speak over phone, it's very expensive. So every banks were thinking how to reach to this NRI. So what happened was that these deposits were started coming through financial agents, financial consultants that also include very highly reputed chartered accounting companies, firms who have good contacts in abroad, started bringing the deposits to Indian bank. So because of their faith in this financial consultant or maybe a relative or friend in India, they don't want to send directly to a bank. At that point of time, they were thinking that sending money to bank will be very like Africa, but it was not like that. India was a developing economy, and we are having very high standard of banking system, particularly after nationalization, and also the private sector when it came was also a lot of concern. But today they are also competing with all the nationalized bank. But at that point of time, this was not there. No much private sector banks. Foreign currency non-resident account was fetching 17 to 18%, which is in rupee account. Believe me, 8 to 9% for the foreign currency. Suppose if you have $100, you will get $8 interest. My mathematics is correct, right? Yeah. So huge amount, like millions of dollars, move to Indian bank through the consultant. Sometimes they directly contact the bank. Whenever good things happen, there will be always a bad thing also happen. Somewhere in the late 90s, one of the first cases of foreign currency misutilization or fraud was investigated by me, fortunately. So that was a great opportunity for me. At that time, nobody was knowing what is happening. The modus operandi of this fraud was non-resident Indians started depositing, which I already told, through financial consultant, chartered accountant. The attraction is getting higher rate of interest because their credibility, these agents have good credibility with the NRI associations or the country in countries like UAE, Hong Kong, European countries, USA. These are the major countries for money used to come. For the banks in India trying for a deposit of mobilization, this was a great opportunity. Believe me, many times Indian banks used to struggle to get the target for deposit mobilization, the target for loans. Getting good deposits was a very big challenge. For them, it was really a boom. So they also started trying through the agents. Some of them are old bankers, they are financial consultants. They said that you can get 8% in your foreign currency, you can get 17 or 18% for the rupee. Even if you take a FCNR account or the NRA, non-resident external account, for foreign currency, initially it was not, rupee was non-repayable, then later it became repayable. You are going to earn a lot of money, and the mathematics which calculated shows that what they were saying is correct. The bank interest for the depository in these countries and banks were very low. Many of the banks, for example, in England, high street banks, they hardly pay any interest for the deposit. You know that. Foreign banks pay very less interest. Now here, because of being an Indian, because of that you're a person of Indian origin, you are getting a very good interest in India of 8 to 9%, 18, etc., etc. This was one attraction. But the most important attraction, which leading to the fraud, was banks, through their agents, reportedly paid extra commission, 1 to 2% commission to these NRIs through their financial consultant to attract NRI deposits. I want to ask this question whether this is legally permissible or not. Somebody may say, earlier the banks used to give like that, later there is no such provision. So, but even today there is no such legal provision for the banks to attract the deposits by paying a commission of 1 to 2%. So the NRIs who are depositing, one side they were getting a decision to invest in X bank or Y bank, an extent of 1 to 2% commission, and higher rate of interest. Every year, these NRIs used to transfer the deposit from one bank to another bank for an extra commission, again ranging from 1 to 2% for the decision of transferring funds from bank A to bank B. Suppose if the deposit came to bank A for 1 year, they will deposit only for 1 year. After that, they will contact the agents telling that I wanted to deposit it in another bank. So the another bank is waiting with the red carpet. They pay again 1 to 2%. So the larger question will be who will pay this 1 to 2%, but the banks are not authorized to pay. So these commissions are actually paid in cash or by transfer by some bank customer, prospective borrowers, through the agents who wanted high value loans from the bank. Suppose a businessman go to the bank, what they will tell? Or if you wanted to go for a locker, what they will tell? Something nice. I am not criticizing it. They will tell you bring a deposit and you show your credibility, we will give you. We would always think about non-risky security to be offered for the loans. A standard banker will speak like that. Here, they said that we don't have any provision to pay commission. What you have to do is, you are going to make money by using our capital. So bring some NRI deposits. It is alleged that all these cases, legal terms, persons of a conspiracy by the bank official, consultants and the beneficiary companies or individuals, Without the knowledge of NRIs, on the basis of the forged document, loans were granted, sanctioned on the security of deposits, and cheated the bank and NRI. For this purpose, the accused clandestinely removed the blank fixed deposit receipts, kept it in the custody. Blank receipts, which we call it bank security. Check. Fixed deposit receipts blank. They are security documents. They are kept in custody. Bank is having manual of instruction clearly telling the protocol how to keep the blank. Nowadays, that is not there. If I have deposit, I don't get a receipt. I will get. I can go to my internet banking and see that there is a digital certificate available there to see that my money is in the bank. But at that time, they have to print FDRs, give it to the customer. Otherwise, customer will not leave you. What they did was, they took out receipts, printed duplicate FDR receipts. The original receipts were sent to the NRA through the agents. Maybe the agents are aware, may not be aware, very controversial things which I don't want to comment on that. But the money was going to, sorry, the FDRs were going to the NRS through proper channel. They are very happy. They get all the receipts. I would have to sit at $1 million today in State Bank of India and I'm getting the FDR receipt. But the perpetrators of the fraud, with the help of one of the bank officials definitely who's in access to these security documents, remove blank one, prepare same set of documents and keeping with them, marking lien on them and giving loan to some beneficiaries who already paid commission. And high value loan, whatever the rate of interest paying, little bit more, 2% or 3% extra, as per the rule. At that time, finance was very expensive. People used to go to intercorporate deposit, take 26%, 27% from companies where their investment reached to the optimum level. They think that, okay, there is no point in investing in my own company. I will give it as a intercorporate deposit to other companies. I came across a lot of intercorporate deposits at that point of time. It was coming by these business people. When they found that, oh, that's very expensive. You are paid 25%. We don't know whether we get a margin from our business. If we get a margin of 20% only, then it will be a loss. It can create a financial problem for the organization. So better find some more cheaper finance. Getting a loan from the banks are difficult. They will ask for the security. So many of the business people, particularly individual business people, started resorting to this way, and some of our friends also started helping them to get such loan. Marking lien, audit comes, sir will go for audit. We'll see that where is the loan. Show me the document. Everything is there. Power of attorney is there. They said that is the third party loan given as per the instruction of the NRA. NRA has authorized this person by general power of attorney, and documents are intact. All the internal audits failed at that point of time. Later, people have realized they could not detect this fraud. Some or other way, this information started coming. Maybe that I get less percentage fraud, you get more percentage. There will be disgruntled people among them. So no secret will become forever. It started coming out. People started telling, उसको इतना पैसा मिला मेरे को कम दिया. So as I said that, referring the slide to satisfy NRI depositors, original receipts were sent to them by courier. FDR were discharged by signing on that, because if you wanted to give loan, you have to get the signature for the discharging of the FDRs. Again, forged, or the signature in the document should match. So they have to remove the original account opening form. They removed specimen signature cards. I don't think that nowadays it's all around digital. And their company details, whatever it will be, their old KYC at that point of time was something different. Everything has been replaced with the forged one. The originals were taken away by the bank manager, or in one of the cases, I found the documents were searched and removed from the company. Very interestingly. I draw your attention on one of the case studies without uttering the bank's name or any other detail. Even though this case is not sub judice, it is already order has been passed, but maybe appeals may be there, so I won't be able to disclose the bank name because bank is not anyway much responsible. And I have found that all the banks were very cooperative in the investigation. They never wanted such type of frauds happening. They're taking nowadays very proactive action, but still it happened because our country is very big. Our financial movement is very high. So many people think that bank is involved, bank is involved. I will never say the word bank according to Solomon and Company versus Solomon. Separate entity concept. Solomon is an independent person and Solomon and Company is different. There are some Solomon who, not the shareholder, but an employee, commit a crime. Does not mean that bank will encourage such type of practices. I want to make it very clear from my experience. I am not glorifying any banks or anybody, but if any individual committed, he should be punished. That is why we are there. We have to investigate and fix the right person, not a wrong person. No innocent person should be stigmatized on this process. This is what an agency like CBI always thinks. I'm not very sure about what is the message go to the public. But whenever I have an interface with any people, when I was working as an officer, I used to tell, don't worry, come to our office, tell what has happened. We are ready to help you, don't worry. So that is also I would like to mention. I'm not in the organization, but I'm sure that my successor sitting there are also not like the officers shown in Hindustan movies as villain. They will be the first villain, but they are really, really helpful people. Believe me. And even you, the professionals can approach them, take the suggestion. Just walk into an office and meet somebody. Whether your complaint is maintainable or not is a different issue. But you can go and meet them. Get an opinion. They will tell, sir, we cannot take this case. You please go to the local police station. We'll support you. If anything wrong happens, I can also talk to the police officer to do something. So I'm sure that every agency, every people, this country, this world is good at large, always helping these things. In this case, a scale 2 grade manager, which is bankers know that what is scale 2. The scale 1 manager start with assistant manager. Scale 2, some banks say as deputy manager or somebody say some other nomenclature, but who was the branch manager? Normally, these type of managers handle small branches in the city or in rural. Of a nationalized bank in Tamil Nadu had sourced such deposits with the help of the said financial consultant from Hong Kong, Dubai, and USA. In a small branch like this, it is a rural branch. He becomes a star of the bank. In all bank meetings, everybody should appreciate him. You see him, how much deposit he is. It was a very good thing. He got awards for them also. But this award was going into a very bad direction. For every person, it never happened. Largely, people are good, but there are some people who think that, okay, I am in desert, lot of sand is there, and the sand, there is no requirement of sand in Middle East. Better to export to Kerala because Kerala is having lot of sand shortage. So if people think that way, they make money wherever they are standing. Such people will be gone. I have to say that I have never seen such a person in the entire of my investigation. Or a person with that mind, a criminal mind, very rarely specious person. What he did, I will talk about that. He has sourced deposit, obviously paying the interest. He also made money. He has prepared duplicate FD receipts. He asked the clerk to bring all the receipts. Then there is a provision. Whenever a receipt is removed, there should be a record in which it has to be ended to whom, which depositor, how much amount, what is the term of deposit. It has to be recorded. Earlier, it used to record it in handwriting, but now it is all recorded in system after the core banking features came. So the lady asked, sir, the lady clerk, senior clerk asked, sir, ये किसके लिए है? You need not worry about non-resident. They are big people. I am handling. You just bring it. Sir, what to be shown? You send the register. I will make anything what you require. What purpose it is used. What he did, there is something called destruction. Destruction is not destroying anything in the normal meaning. Destruction of the security receipt. It is all in a order. 1, 2, 3, 4 serial number. If any particular blank receipt is not used, you have to write the reason for it. So what they will write, they will say destroyed by mistake or misplaced, etc. And an entry, an authorization has to be done. Nowadays, there is no receipt, but just before our internet banking and all started, still, I'm not very sure whether they are maintaining hard copy of the receipts in the bank. But now, at that point of time, machine came. Printing FDR machine, printing machine came, and it will be printed. It is printed in such a way, programmed in such a way in Infosys, if I'm not wrong, the software provided by Infosys on the banking system at that point of time, in the middle stage, not in the advanced core banking stage. That if you don't print, if you do not match the number with that, you have to type that number, it will not print. So what you have to do, you have to make something called destruction process in the system. It means somebody has to authorize destruction. Serial number 3 to 7 destroyed due to so and so reason. Then only it will pass on printing. Otherwise, you keep 5, but the printing will be shown as receipt number 3, stationery number 3. So what in this particular case, there he has written there that destroyed, and some letter, some document he has placed in that place, so that the auditor comes there, so that is destroyed. He also prepared duplicate FD receipts himself. It was very interesting. When during the investigation we were taking his signature, who prepared this, sir, I only. Who signed, sir, I only. So how the signature is different, I did it for the left hand. You are not given to anybody else, so the clerk asked him to come and sign. No, I myself. And he said, sir, if you want, I can even forge your signature. I said, okay. I put my signature. He forged, my signature is very difficult to forge. He forged the signature exactly the same way. So there are some qualities, some skill development might have happened at the God's place. So this person can do that. So he don't want any risk, because he was very intelligent person. He knows that a secret which is known to more than one person is never been a secret in the future. This will go. Interestingly, none of the staff are getting any doubt about this line manager who was doing this, forging of duplicate FD receipts, marking lien on that, keeping along with the loan documents, and preparing at that time for tripartite agreement, like the depositor, bank, and the person authorized. And also, sorry, not the person who authorized, the beneficiary of the loan has to, in a special adhesive stamp paper, an agreement has to be signed. So all the 3 people will sign. I will repeat: the depositor's representative, the bank, and the beneficiary. I can give loan on the security of my deposit to Sarasa, but I will tell sir, this is Sarasa, I can do it in the bank. Or at that time, power of attorney, yes, I was far away in Cochin, I cannot come. I can send a GPA attested in front of the notary public and send it. After these cases, I would like to refer that RBI have decided not to entertain any power of attorneys for the third party loan or anything. It should be discouraged, because lot of forging of 100 rupees stamp paper to make it anything, put anybody's name, and you can put the president's name also and get it not right. I am not talking bad about this particular browser, but it has lot of gray areas. And somebody's deposit of $1 million with 100 rupees paper can be taken away by somebody. Is not a proper risk management. So RBI decided that we will not entertain any foreign account. The receipt was also discharged by forging the signature of the duplicate. In this case, very interestingly, there is no authorized representative of the NRI. So the person himself, the brand manager himself, signed there also. His signature is there in a different way for discharging the receipt. Since the branch was a small branch of the bank, the custody of the security documents like bank FDR receipts were kept in his custody. Many at that time, as per the manual, it should be in the joint custody of 2 officers. Minimum is scale 1 officer. And whenever it is required, both should sign, and then almirah will be opened. Then only the FDR blank receipts can be removed from the locker. But here, small branch, he is the only officer there. So he himself kept. So that was one of the reasons why this fraud happened. Usually, as per the banking manual on deposit, the bank security, I already told, joint custody. Since at that time, no FDR printer was there. Fixed deposit receipt printing machines, if I am not wrong, was not there at that time. So even I have got my FDR from State Bank of India written in hand, 1.5 lakhs, 2 lakhs. So there was no printing. So the branch manager himself written. The bogus, the duplicate is also written by him. The original is also. Some point of time we had a confusion in this case. To say that which one is original and which is, he may misguide me. Tomorrow when it is go to the court, whatever I submitted under section 173(5), filing the charge sheet, the documents in support of the prosecution will prove as a forgery document. What will be the situation? So we were very careful. We told that, tell Mr. So, then we checked when at least when he issued the original receipts, proper entries were made. From that we found that they are the original and that. There was some point of confusion which is original and which is the duplicate. When the branch manager removed the blank receipt for preparing duplicate FDR receipts, he has made record that I already told destroyed, etc. He said she need not. The lady clerk in between came, the whistleblower. She told, what is this, sir? You told me that it is going to be utilized, but you are telling that it is destroyed. It is not destroyed. So he said, we have handed over to you. And how it is destroyed? You see, in my home, some children played with that and it is destroyed. Some funny answer he told. There, this proactive lady officer, senior clerk, who is the real banger, was the whistleblower. She informed this matter to somebody in the regional office. In turn, it gone to the vigilance head. Finally, audit was conducted. The bank was took over forcibly. The branch was took over from the branch manager by another branch bank manager reaching there in separate. Because of that, all the documents, to some extent, including the foreign document, were recovered, and which helped investigating agency to prove it. Otherwise, we are not magicians. If the preservation of the scene of crime is not maintained, we cannot prove a case. Then finally the judgment will come telling that the prosecution is not able to prove the case again. And on our greatest principle that let so many people go out. The frauds are also being removed, but an innocent person should not be convicted. So many people have got the benefit of that. So many people, because of the time passing, not reporting the offense or happening of the offense at the right time. Please remember, we should always educate the people. If anything happens, even in your house, don't touch it. Don't destroy the evidence. I'm talking about other conventional crime cases in which these are very, very important. Document, at least we will get some document, some corroborating document we may get which can prove the case. But in conventional crimes, if a theft happens, please don't let go and see that what is lost. whether you lost Lakshmi Mala or whether you lost that Mala, don't go and check. It should be, the same should be preserved. So the same thing, the document should be, if you find any problem, or if you think that there is something wrong happened, better to lock it and don't hand over the key to anybody. That is what the lady clerk did. She put it in ANSF. She shifted everything into a separate locker and kept it. At the time of investigation, she became one of the star witness of the case. He further sanctioned third-party loan and security of the NRA deposit, 2 travel agencies. I cannot tell their name, and 1 engineering college. Very interesting engineering college, very famous. If I say the name, some of the children might have studied in that college. I don't want to create any confusion. Very famous engineering college, great politician, owned by. They are the beneficiaries of this loan. Huge loan. One travel agent, 7.5 crore. Another travel agent, 3.5 crore. That was a very big amount during 98, 99, I'm talking about. Engineering college fellow got 15 crore. Commission has been consortium customer. The consortium customer, we use consortium for the financing for the bank, but the consortium customer who defrauded the bank, they conspired, they paid the commission to the particular manager, and it was perfect, open and shut. He also, I think, alleged to have collected huge commission, which I already did. The brand manager, during interrogation, has admitted that he received a commission from the beneficiary. He was trying to rope up the NRIs, telling that 1% they paid to NRIs. They were also aware about that. They told us that you misused my deposit. Maybe correct, we don't know, but there was no evidence. But in the maturity, I want my money back, and I want my commission, and I wanted to get the highest rate of interest. It may be true, but there was no evidence available. He was defending in the court with this particular to misguide the judge actually, and was trying to become a good Samaritan at that time. Since there was no evidence, that particular plea was not granted. Of course, he has made money. He took 2%, but paid only half percentage commission like that. So he made a lot of money. The entire loan become bad, obviously, and outstanding loans were found sanctioned. Loan application and other bank documents required to sanction loans were forged. What happened? On the maturity, since the loans were not paid and the loans were on the security of the deposits, bank sent notices to NRI. Otherwise, they will repatriate the amount back to them, or they will ask them, make a call, ISD call, and ask them, sir, please keep one more year. But in this case, brand manager changed. Brand manager changed because he went for LTC. He went for LTC. Kudrati Gawa. It has happened. God always helps us. Another brand manager of a nearby branch was in charge. He got a call. He said that no, you are having your deposits being given loan. The panicky NRI started contacting Finance Minister of India, Department of Banking, Finance Secretary, because they were very highly influential person. Then they contacted the head office of the on this internal verification and vigilance. Internal vigilance conducted by, I still remember the Assistant General, a very smart and very active person. He has conducted he was helping us during the investigation to retrieve the documents, etc. He has conducted a wonderful young guy investigate. Later he retired as a deputy general manager, director officer. They also complained to the banking ombudsman. They said that I don't want to hear any bullshit. I want my deposit back. This is my hard-earned money. We are doing business in Hong Kong. We are textile, we are garments people. It's our hard-earned money. We want the money back. The matter has been reported to the very high level, and case has been referred to CBI for investigation. After the CBI investigation is over and the involvement of the NRIs alleged by the accused is not proved, bank decided to pay back. Sorry, the involvement of the NRIs, yes, were not proved. I am talking about after our investigation. I will talk about what investigation happened later in the coming slide, but I'm just telling what happened in the investigation has proved that NRI are not responsible for it. So, one or two customers, NRIs approached the banking ombudsman, but the bank very nicely had done a good communication with them, telling that don't worry about the ombudsman and all. Your hard-earned money is safe. It is a matter of the reputation of the Indian bank in abroad. At that point of time, if this message passes to the other NRIs through association, very strong association, what will happen? Next 5 years, no deposit will come. Why they wanted to put their money into trouble? There may be some group people who are involved. They may deposit, but the real good people, NRI, they have their hard-earned money, they will not invest. So, Department of Banking, RBI, they have done a lot of process to inform the NRI because this is one of the first cases of NRI deposit being misused. And they started counseling the deposit holders. That time there is no much communication. You have to call ISD only. And finally, they were informing them the process of investigation. And they have been asked to not to worry. And the government of India given a guarantee to them that your money will be paid back. And finally, all the money with the interest will be paid back. At this point of time, I was talking about forgery. Many people knowing that whenever a forgery happens, particularly bankers know that there is a department of forensic science in different parts of India, including in Hyderabad. I talk about Hyderabad because this is Hyderabad chapter program. There is something called GQD, Hyderabad. Government examiner on question document. One of our great speakers, Satish Puthin Madathil, scientific expert in my case, this case, and he have done a wonderful scientific remarks, certification that he has proved the signature. Because of this, we were also trained in GAQD. PCB officers should know how to refer admitted writing, what is specimen signature. I will not talk about that in detail. There are three types of documents. One is a question document, which question in dispute, admitted writings, and specimen signature. What all these things you will be knowing. Maybe in a different session we can talk about. We can ask Satish Puthin, the most important person in this to talk about that. But we should know how to refer it. At least we can contact GQD Hyderabad and ask their opinion. Some documents have been forged. Banks are always doing that. So all the documents were sent to GQD Hyderabad for opinion. What was the investigation done? Initially, collection of documents from the bank was very easy. There is no problem because the lady clerk and the manager who came for a short period, they have protected all the documents. But private people were in underground because searches happened in their house after the registration of the cases. So they all went to underground. We have done a lot of counseling of them and told them, please come. What they said, sir, we went to the bank and asked for loan. They said that this is a wonderful way by which you can get the loan. We were not aware about what is the bank and what is the law. Even the ignorance of law is not an excuse. But so we told that yes, we understand that. We never made them uneasy. We told that okay, we understand that benefit definitely you will get. And we were very serious about that. We told. They came within 2 days. They came from their underground. They started cooperating with the investigation. Some of the documents they kept also they brought in. Some of the letters written by this person, that an email and all they started. I'm not very sure. I think it was all more on hard copy letter. Yes, written left and right. letters to these people. All that were recovered because of the rapport created by the investigation team. 3 cases, myself and one of my colleagues were there. So we were able to collect oral evidences. Again, nobody heard about CBI cases. They think that CBI is a monster which can do anything. In Tamil Nadu, particularly after the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case, they were not doing good these people who can do so many things. But we said that we are not like others. We are common people. We are good human beings. Of course, we are professionals. We will never keep problem for innocent people. Please come. So many witnesses came, and given they are all become subsidiary or secondary evidences. They are not involved in the transaction, but they also come told. They all, sir, this man has offered the same loan to us also, but for our luck, we have never taken them. So that all becomes lot of extrajudicial confession. This man have gone and told some of his banking friends that I have done like this. I made lot of money. You also do it. That become extrajudicial confession. Those people are in the legal, they know what is extrajudicial confession. Somebody say that the accused told me like this, and he deposed before the court is an extrajudicial confession. During trial, the NRA depositors, again, a lot of difficulty, they were not willing to come to. We said that if you come and depose before the court, you will get back your money. Or otherwise, we will take it back, we will file case against you. Because you are helping the case. We have to tell. We are ready to help. Many of the people got money back. Some of them are going to get, it will affect. So their associations approach us telling that, yes, we want security to come to India, which was provided by many of the depositors, except some very old people, they came and deposed before. Out of 10 deposits, like 6 depositors came and deposed. They are all NRIs, they came. They have done natural witnesses. They don't know about IPCC RPC. They narrated like a normal witness. Natural Kudratagawa. They came, they have given their statement. I have talked about searches, searches of incriminating documents, various operation which we do to collect evidence, resulting finally into the conviction of all the accused private people as well as public. Many of the information we obtain through the scientific interrogation of the accused, separately interrogate, collective aiming, contradict. These are the things which I will be able to guide any people, maybe in a different session or when any chance comes out to do that. The art of interrogation is very important. Many things to various techniques are there. I can tell one example, school master's method. I will explain it later what it is. There are so many methods, scientific methods that you can interrogate. You need not teach anybody. Without that, with the evidence collector and talking to them by showing the evidence, you can break them. So I'm just telling some of the good interrogation techniques are used with the help of people like our peers in CBI, people like our Satish sir. So many chartered accountants helped us in understanding anything.
Tell me, what Satish, you are telling something?
No, what I was telling, sir, the people like Satish sir, when an investigation is happening, many people think that we are some very specialized people with a lot of knowledge and we discharge it. But we get the heroes behind the screen who have helped us in getting the evidence required.
Yeah. See,
multiple agencies like Sir you.
Yeah,
Sir has already done many cases of CBI along with our team. Sir.
Yeah. There are two separate facets. One is the criminal investigation part. The other is the other evidentiary part, including technical evidence, cyber evidence, financial evidence, and all that. In all large cases of bank frauds, nowadays it is a norm to work jointly along with other colleague professionals, which will ensure success. Satish is expert in that. He raised with many colleagues like that.
Yes, sir. Sir, I fully agree with that, sir. That time also, many
Hmm.
people thinking that only CBI officers are investigating, but lot of bank experts were called, Reserve Bank of India experts were called, policies have been discussed. RBI people, RBI investigators came and had a discussion with us. My banking knowledge has increased. We have done training with RBI, staff colleges, for the purpose of investigation because nobody is with ultimate knowledge. And as Sir said, Sir is a very seasoned investigator. As said, that multiple agency, multiple expertise is required. Many people think, oh, criminal investigation, it is the job of police people with a good mustache. We will take them, beat somebody, and get all the evidence. We are not concerned. But I'm sure that our fraternity, CFE fraternity, would have definitely will help investigating agencies in many investigations, and they are very technically and specially qualified financial people, understand the intricacies of the financial dealing, are very integral part of the investigation happening in India. Now, Sir was referring about digital part. I'm scared to talk about the cyber crime, even though I had training, but because this is a very big area, our forensic experts like Shastri he must be listening. I don't want to take a risk. But I can say that in all the cases nowadays, digital forensics is one of the most important area in which professionals are going abroad and studying and coming back. Lot of requirement of digital forensic experts. They can be directly recruited by the forensic lab. They are CFEs. They are technically very highly qualified, and they know the cases. Their teams during searches we have taken, for example, security scam cases. Then lot of digital experts were taken to. There is a joke in policing that I'm not talking about one policeman. I will not talk about the agency whether it is local police or CBI. He went for a search, and there was a floppy disk. At that time, floppy disk was there. What he did, along with other papers, he put a screw and tied it with other papers. So you can understand if you use a sharpener thing to make it in bunch, what will happen to the. So today, CBI team or any agency team going for investigation is accompanied by not only the doctor, they are accompanied during the searches so that the proper way evidences are collected. Otherwise, if you are careless about collection of evidence in the investigation, that will not be admissible. Hash number, for example, I don't want to talk more technical. Hash number, if it deviates, if it proved by the defense that hash number has changed, then we can tell that this particular digital evidence is being tampered. So case will go. So it's very important that even the Evidence Act does not talk about much about collection of evidence or important. Only the authentication of the evidence is important. But the modern IT digital forensics is very important. For example, everybody knows that I did not tell about that because fraternity is well aware about the collection of evidence, like digital forensic examination, then recovery of the documents. Even if the documents is removed, it can be recovered by digital imaging of the evidence, then convert into the readable format. So they are very important. Today, marketing starts from the research and development. Marketing starts from the R&D. First, R&D people should find out that what is required by the customer. Then only the companies make the product. So if you talk about marketing, R&D is the first person of marketing. It's not that after making the product we will sell it. That is safe. For marketing, R&D is important. I'm very sure that the people, most of the people will agree with me. Similarly, for investigation also, digital and scientific evidence. In Rajiv Gandhi case, I am not supposed to talk about the details, but what has happened? The evidence collected from the scene of crime, on camera, etc., people know about it. And the most revolutionary Dr. Chandrasekhar, then that solved the case. Otherwise, if the passage of time it takes being investigated by some agency, then moved on to another and moved on to another, the result would have been destroyed. The evidence would have been destroyed. The interested people would have been destroyed with evidence. Actually. So anything we should start, and while starting also, the right people reaching in the right place for the collection of evidence is very important. I fully agree with this result. Interrogation of the accused in the police custody has happened. No, this is very important. I'm sure that some of the legal students or legal fraternity who is listening this will be interested. These are the day-to-day sections of primary investigating agencies. 120B. This case was charge sheeted under these sections and the case was proved without beyond any doubt. Shall I ask one question? It's a very question which will be discussed. Any point of time, like movies, judge will proclaim telling that Satish was innocent in this case? This is a question which we can discuss. We can discuss it later. Whether they will declare that even if he is acquitted, whether they will use the word he is innocent. No. I can say the answer now. Only it will tell that whatever brought before this court, evidences and the hearing of both sides, I have the opinion that no case is made out. And he is acquitted because of the lack of evidence. Only in Bollywood movie, people can say that he is innocent. Declare by ijat bari karega. That is a term used by in Hindi. By ijat bari. Yes, definitely the person acquitted in a case is should be respected, and there should not be any stigma attached to that process. But no, according to my legal, as a student of the law, I'm still a student of the law at this age. I don't think that any court will say that he was innocent. Use the word innocent. No. Please, I draw the discussion of the people in this forum or in a different forum. 120B is a criminal conspiracy. You already explained what how conspiracy happened. 409 is one of the most dangerous sections of the IPC. Life imprisonment is the punishment for that. 409 IPC. Criminal breach of trust by public servant or by banker. This is the definition. I have already put that definition here. Criminal breach of trust by public servant or by banker, merchant, or agent. I am very surprised. This Indian Penal Code, which was created long back, they have put this name banker because banker is one of the asset of this country. It is most trustworthy person of this country. For the society, for the banker, merchant, or agent, he will be responsible. Punishment for cheating and dishonestly 420. Delivery of property. Dishonestly inducing and delivery of property is what 420 IPC. 420 IPC is the penal section for the cheating. Section 465 is forgery. 467 is forgery of a valuable security. Section 468 is forging the document for cheating. And 471 IPC is using the forgery document for a financial gain or for committing a crime. Now, very interesting question recently asked by somebody. You did a forgery, kept with you. Some reason, forged document was recovered, even though it is not used. I put this. I will not tell question. Discussion, but the discussion of the fraternity, legal, financial fraternity, whether it can be substantive offences, or it is an abetment, or it is an attempt. I am just giving you a multiple choice. Section related to forgery of documents are these 465, 67, 68, and 471. There are other sections, 477, but you see, these are the main important sections proved, and all the sections which we have charge sheeted have been proved in the court. I am coming to the Prevention of Corruption Act 1980, which is enacted for dealing the public servant and government servant. All the government servants are public servants, but all the public servants are not government servants. All the law students, including me, know what it is. So, all the public servants are also not government servants, but all government servants are public servants. So, you will get the answer from that. This is a very important section. Section 13 of the Prevention of Corruption Act 1988. Criminal misconduct of the public servant and its punishment. When he dishonestly done etc., 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 and he committed an offense within the variables mentioned, within the points mentioned in the section, scope of the same sections will be, if the allegations are true, can be prosecuted under section 13 subsection 2. Section 13(1) and C, again of PCF. It says, if he dishonestly or fraudulently misappropriates or otherwise convert for his own use any property entrusted to him under his control as a public servant, or allows any other person so to do, has committed this section, will be punishable under this section. Section 13(1)(d) is very wide. Excuse me. It says, sir, board member, sir, if any break or anything, you may kindly inform me so that I will stop. If he by corrupt or illegal means obtained for himself or for any other person any valuable thing, not only obtained for himself, he obtained for his wife. Okay, I did the cheating, put that money into my wife's account. Public servant will get. Even the close members, family members. Okay, no problem, I can make corruption, I can put the money in my father's and my father-in-law's account or my parents' account. So many cases. Buddha parents has to come to the court for defending the son. Happened because of the knowledge or what you say. We also feel very bad as a human being, but ignorance of law is not an excuse. While holding office as a public servant, I told that all public servants, definition, government servant is also a public servant, but all public servants are not government servants. For any person, any valuable thing or pecuniary advantage without any public interest. Any advantage obtained for a public interest. I have constructed a well in my village. I use something, maybe collected some money from my department, asked them to donate. This particular section is very clear. Unless for your own pecuniary advantage, you don't use it. Does not mean that, like Robin Hood, you can go and loot and then distribute food during COVID period. I am talking about this way. This is some sort of work they have done by mistake, by lack of knowledge, no, can get an advantage. And substantive offences. Substantive offences, why we use substantive offences in the charge sheet is 120 be criminal conspiracy to do the fraud. Punishment is different. Committing a fraud under 420 is different. There are two different offences committed. So normally we read substantive offences thereof. It means whatever you have mentioned in conspiracy, that is also in substantive offences. Otherwise, we have to tell substantive offences under section 120B, read with 420, 465, 467, 68, 71 of IPC, read with section 13(1)B, 13(2) read with 13(1)D of the Prevention of Corruption Act, like that. So in that means all the substantive offences and all the conspiracy offences are the same. How accused were intercepted? I already told we have done lot of people gone to underground. We got some their relatives given little bit to dose. They said they are staying in this place. Finally, we met them. We made them convinced, and we got it. Trial, I already touched about the trial. Accused public servant. I am not going to tell what exactly the deposition of the public servant who was questioned by the court during the judicial process. But what he said, his his alibi or his defense was public servant only suggested this modus of no sorry the private person told the court that this person only told you to do this fraud. So the judge asked them, if somebody asks you to do some illegal thing, will you do? They said, we were not doing, sir. What is happening inside? They told our money is credited in our account. We don't know how whether the what is this FDR, what is this NRE account. To be very frank with you, they were not aware. Even we were not aware about at that time what was the foreign deposits happening and what is the channel. But I'm not glorifying them. But that point was correct. Some leniency probably might have got to them for that. But here the fraud was perpetrated by many of the cases. Private people only do that. They will be having more role than the public servant, and public servant may be carried away by it. But in this case, public servant, I told her, genetic disorder. We can call it criminal genetic disorder. You can say a new nomenclature you can make. Some people we tell one word, born criminal. Sorry, I am not in any way telling bad about that guy. But what happened? If anybody like that come into our system, it's very difficult. Okay, so he will spread the drugs among us. So that is what the example. But it was not true. Accused public servant, even though admitted this fact during investigation. Investigation told, sir, yeah, private people are innocent, sir. I only suggested that. But statement before police officer by the accused is self-incriminating. Unless this result in the recovery of 27 recovery under the Evidence Act. Section 27 recovery under the Evidence Act, it will have no value. It should be led to the seizure of some property or an evidence. Here, 27, section 27 is not much valuable because before that we have collected all the evidence. So there is no recovery. For example, in the conventional cases, suppose if a murder happened to be recovered, along with the two independent witnesses, the police officer take this person to the place where the murder weapon is kept, and he will take it out, send it for DNA matching, the blood of the victim, etc., etc., and the case can be proved. And 27 recovery is one of the most important aspects in the police investigation. Whatever process I'm talking about are only can be done by the police officer. It cannot be. You can't do a 27 recovery. Okay, but I can tell further about that. What way we can do it? What we can preserve the evidence in maybe next time. Okay. All the accused were convicted for imprisonment. This is the second example. Again, same FCNR NRA deposit fraud. It has not happened in a small branch. It has happened in several branches. I am getting an information, or CBI getting an information, that there is how somebody can prepare two sets of NRA deposit, FDR. The moment that we realized that in the branch I have done that investigation. So he told me, please do the investigation. My bosses told you, please do the investigation. And my colleague also. We are already patterned, we are specialist investigators. So we got assignment that you verify. We verified with the National Bank. I have to say hats off to the chief manager of that bank, who then took the charge, was the whistleblower. She found, it was a lady again, she found all these irregularities done by her predecessor, but she kept it very confidential, informed all the people. Through somebody, I also got an information, or we also got an information. So a case can be registered in two ways. One is a complaint received from the bank. Many of the participants may be respected senior people like chief vigilance officers. They know that they are doing everything this thing. They make a beautiful complaint and send it to agencies, local police, or whichever I already told. The second way police officer can, I know all the legal people understand that, CEO motor case. Because I realized that this case have no time to ask for the bank to prepare a complaint or not. Let us immediately register the case and start our operation, so that at least evidence will not be lost. So we have registered this case on CMO on the basis of information. We call it source information. So because there is no complaint required. Even a police officer who knows about the commission of a cognizable offence need not take a complaint. I don't know. Many times people tell me, sir, they are asking for a written complaint. But I think the police officer must be playing a safe game in this, because he's thinking that let the complaint come. It will be strengthened the case. People will have different opinion on this, but I'm telling both are legal. If a complaint comes, that is also legal. If a no complaint come also, it is legal, because the law is set into motion under section 154 of the CRPC. And the FIR will be filed on the jurisdiction court. The court will direct you to start the investigation. And all the process, including search seizures, will help you to recover the evidence at the earliest possible time. And regarding the complainant, there is nothing called complainant. Complainant is one of the witnesses only. You will have so many witnesses. The person who dealt with this case, who has handled something, who has heard about this fraud. Somebody will be circumstantial evidence he will give. Documents will be there. Scientific evidence will be there. Forensic labs will give their scientific evidence. But so, who is giving complaint? Yes, it is very important. The statement of the complainant is very important. But we have to share the responsibility to more people, not to put this person going for a cross-examination for next 15 months in the court and kacheri. It is better that his role should be confined to the complaint only. And those who are dealt with that, those who knows about it, direct witness should be brought into. Many times people say, I don't want to give a complaint. You give a complaint. Corporates also, sometimes we find that, I worked in the corporate vigilance, sometimes they say that you are a police officer. You drop the complaint and you give. No sir, this happened in the factory. So let the plan head give the complaint. So I am to convince them, telling that you do one thing, you prepare it, sign it, I will put a covering note on that, so we both can go. I will accompany you when the case comes before the court, right? So obviously people don't want to go to the court and before the court. They don't want to do the criminal administration of justice for their own convenience. They will find one day again, they will go for a holiday. But many responsible people I've seen, they come forward to give the evidence. In banking, I have seen the people who are supporting or who are part of the investigation, even in a small level, they have helped me. Without their help, I would not have succeeded in this case. Banks targeted Canara Bank, Corporation Bank. I will not specify which case this one, but Bank of Maharashtra, Union Bank of India, Indian Overseas. After some time, Pandora's box opened. Every district or every big city, there was a fraud of FCNR fraud. What started in Tamil Nadu, the knowledge has spread and it started spreading everywhere. So many cases registered. I have not handled all the cases. Different branches of CBI, some of them are PMLA cases going on in the court. Some of them have been already disposal has happened. So these were the some of the branches, banks which were involved. But I have not investigated all these banks cases. But why I'm telling is that it can happen in X bank, it can happen into Y. If X bank come to know about any particular modus operandi, they can also tell other banks preventive dealings. It's happening. Somebody is approaching you with a high value car loan. They will forge the Mercedes-Benz performer invoice and will take a loan. They will come in suit in another Mercedes-Benz. They will take a consumer loan. It's called a consumer loan, but the cost of a BMW or the cost of a Maybach will be 1.5 crore. And they will buy the car. They will take loan for the car, and then finally they will be. I'm just suffering one of the bank fraud, which is not part of this program, but very recently I heard about this. This is one of the modus operandi because it's a high value car. Nobody used the Maruti car for that. They used only BMW, Audi, or Mercedes Benz. Brands like Porsche, etc. But just for a professional information, I'm giving. The private company with no business history. There were 2 travel agents and 1 engineering college. He was one of the great politicians. I still remember when I was going to his engineering college, he was going in a Mercedes Benz car and following in a small jeep. The security standing there saluted him and stopped my car and go, "Kahan ja rahe?" So they were reputed people. They were doing fair business, but get into this type of gray area. But in this case, the private company with no business history, the accused number 1 was one of the big criminals of the area. He had done so many things. He is into smuggling. He is into what is called elephant, this thing, poaching. He is into so many things. So this person was the accused number not 1. He was the private person, and he formed a big company, but there is no business. Business is this only. This type of misappropriation of funds. Accused public servant. What interesting thing is that how the due diligence was not done by the bank about his business. At least some involvement. At least one field officer should go and ask whether this company is doing something, whether they're doing some business. Do they have an office? Is it a public limited company or a private limited company? Which bank they are having? Bank. So, incidentally, this person was having a bank, normal personal account in one of the brands. That brand, public servant was involved, introduced to another fellow. उसकी बिरादरी वाला दूसरा बैंक में introduced. It spread across India. This modus operandi was adopted in, tried and successfully done in many of the, and Indian banks lost money. Accused public servant bankers were from different banks. They are at different time. There will be a rotten eggs everywhere. It does not mean that all bankers are like that. There are very limited people like that, but they can create problems. We already know that many cases coming up. We are seeing it. But private persons were not, public servants are not having any previous records. But this person, I already told, was having criminal record. Now they targeted NRIs. In the other, we have seen that they have gone to the NRIs through some agents because that was 90s. Now communication has better, email have started, etc. ISD calls become more cheaper. Airtel giving more offers. Other companies giving more offers. So the speed of the fraud increases. In this case, bank official connected with private person, beneficiaries directly. So the deposit from NRIs located in abroad. Most of the person of Indian origin and business people in abroad. Countries like Hong Kong, UAE, Europe, USA, or by what they did, they obtained the general power of attorney of the notary. From the executed in front of the notary public. In the case of NRIs available here, perpetually available. They are not available, and the GPA perpetually executed in India and also abroad, including they have brought one POA, power of attorney GPOA, which was referred as executed in High Commission of Hong Kong. I should refer. In this case, I already told they were not Indian consultants, they were abroad. GPA, I have already told. However, one GPA was executed in the Indian mission in abroad. You must be knowing that all Indian mission and their compound for all purpose is considered as territory of India. So, even anything done there inside the embassy or high commission or the Indian mission in abroad are considered legally as Indian location. So it was a believable story, not like the story which is that happened in village. They made some power of attorney, and some of them were notarized by the genuine notary public. 100 rupees paper, notarized. What is the notarization? Telling that Robert, Satish, David, Mohammed, all are the representative of the NRIs, and the NRI signature as well as the person, the power of attorney signature obtained in front of a notary public. And only in one case it is executed from the consulate general. As an investigator, when I took all the documents from the bank, in this case also, very luckily, the lady champion who took over the branch, who was the whistleblower, protected all the documents. She produced all the documents within no time to me. When I scrutinized the document, I found that High Commission of India in Hong Kong. Yes, people will think, everybody know what is High Commission. Commonwealth, whichever the Commonwealth countries, their each other, their diplomatic mission is called as High Commission. Obviously, Hong Kong was ruled by England, so Indian mission could be High Commission. But very interestingly, the name, the nomenclature is decided by the country. India has given the nomenclature not as High Commission of India, but as Consulate General of India. I have handled some of the High Commission in Hong Kong issues. Consulate General. I myself is telling High Commissioner. Consulate General issues. I have got an investigator who, one of the qualities of the investigator is to doubt everything. I started seeing all the words. First of all, the format, the way it is executed, the printing, everything, there is a gadbad. Secondly, I have seen that the language used is not something like Hong Kong, which was the England's one time their occupation. Third point I thought was, let me check up. At that time, Google Baba started, so I checked some of the internet. The whole details are available for every investigator. If you do some little bit things, you need not send a letter for understanding what is the name used for any consulate general. I don't know. When I see it, even now I check it in the Google, that what is the Indian mission called in England. In England itself there are different. If it is in Nottingham, it is different. If it is in the main embassy, it is called Embassy of London. Embassy of London, yeah. The other place it is consulate general. So we have to check, and the time to time the name also sometimes changes by the country. So we should be very careful in that. When I got this, why High Commission is used? When I checked, they said, I contacted the consulate general. He said, we never called us High Commission. What happened, Mr. Satish? I said, nothing, sir. We'll come back to you about it. So it is very clear that the document executed before High Commission, some name, some Punjabi name, as the counselor. Next call, after some day, otherwise they will also get panicked. I asked them, sir, if there is any Indian diplomat, namely so and so name, he said, no. What? Never had such a person. However, Mr. Satish will come back to you, check whether anybody earlier in that name was the Indian mission in Hong Kong. So it was very clear that this document was false. So the doubt arose, and when the matter gone to there, defense lawyer asked me, how can you tell that consulate general and all you're telling is not genuine? I said that, sir, it cannot be genuine by nature. because there is no High Commissioner of India in Hong Kong. There is only Consulate General of India in Hong Kong. And the judge was laughing. I was really sure that if you produce a very genuine evidence, the presiding officer will be very happy because that makes their job much easier. In this case, accused bank officer was removed. Yes, RDA major penalty, etc., etc. There is no double jeopardy. Even if he is a departmental officer, he can be removed. Bank can take their actions. The crime cases are different, which is going parallelly, and he was convicted. What he did was, when he printed the second set of forged receipt, at that time, handwriting became unpopular. Printing machine had come. Security stationery come in rolls, and they fix it there. Again, serial number, all program. Whenever there is when people were on, one of the accused who was involved was the number 2 of the brand who committed the fraud, and the who are branch head of that time was carried away by, because of trust, we are all working with trust actually. So it can happen. So what happened to both of them, that I will tell you later. Security when printing done, that is done by a lady officer. When she went for lunch, what he did, he removed 10, 15, 20 blank. When the printing is going on, after that one person will come in printing. Some point of time, when making the account of the FDR is accountability. So even if it is a roll letter printed in the machine also, when they have done the check, weekly check, monthly check, whatever it may be, they found that some of the receipts were found destroyed. There is a program, it is not a destruction, physical destruction. It is called a program called, in that software, we have to do a destruction. For doing the destruction, you have to have a authorization code. Like this, like admin. Only admin can do it, or only this particular level of officer can do it. He has to come and do it. Many times what happens? People tell 4357, do it. Because the officer don't want to come to the mission, or the manager don't want to come to the mission. But here, the lady who is printing was not the villain. First we thought he will be the villain. Again he was there. What he did in introduction, when she went for lunch, he went there and removed. Not only, he went to her system, and he knows, he's a senior officer, so he knows her password, gone into her system and made entry for the destruction, destroyed program. It's again, if a receipt is stuck in the machine, or if it is having not a proper printing is not clear, or any other reason, or somebody even if it is folded by mistake, we can remove that receipt and the printing can start from next time. But whatever missing part has to be saved. It was manual, entering in register, now it is entering in the system. And what he did, till last, we have thought that this is the lady who has helped for the fraud. But we are not taking any action. We asked that which state is print. Sorry, I am printing, that is my job. From where you take your lunch? You go home or you bring the food? So that we go and sit, ladies all sit in a place in the branch. How much time? Half an hour, 45 minutes. Who take care of the mission? Do you shut down? Yes, sir, I have shut down. We have been trained to tell that our system should be shut down because in bank it's very important. Before I go, I shut down. Then the last question, uncomfortable question happened. Have you shared this with anybody? She said, no. Finally, we came to know that this fellow, he himself told that I was knowing all these people's password. In this case, original FDR at the time of deposit were sent to the NRI by courier. Original account opening came from the NRI with card, all signed. Directly, there was no agent, so they directly sent to the branch. So there, the man who is in charge of the deposit is the perpetrator of the fraud. He removed every document, replaced with the forged account opening form, so that this document will match during the audit with the loan document. it will be the similar signature of the NRI, everything. So during the inspection, it is very difficult to see that some NRI Gopal Shetty sitting in Dubai, his signature is not available in the public domain. It is very difficult. So that is why the what is called specimen signature card is made. That was sometimes he may sign 2 times, 3 times in different way. Somebody put a stroke behind, somebody put a stroke front. So what will happen? We will ask for 3 specimen signatures because sometimes he might have signed by fighting with his wife. Second time he'll be very happy that he had a good grandchildren. Third time may be very different. He may do different. So whenever you go to the bank and do it, it cannot match. Then later it may have a problem. So we are providing 3 specimen signatures. Original FDRs were sent to the NRI through the foreign. The forged documents were kept in the bank along with the loan documents.
Sir, Satish, we are at 12:55, so last 10 minutes. I would like to continue. I would like to have a Q&A. I mean, you want to close this case, then have question and answer, or how you are going to plan?
I will run it little bit fast by telling the next 2 frauds.
Okay.
In this case also, I will take another 5 minutes. It is okay. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure. I think then we are left with 5 more minutes for the question and answers. Okay, sir.
5 मिनट कम से कम क्वेश्चन आंसर को होना चाहिए.
Yeah.
Sir. So see, other 2 frauds I will send in one sentence was export trade finance, and it was lot of kite flying, bogus LC transaction, etc. Maybe another time we can talk about this case actually. So I'm sorry that I had a little bit time management problem in this.
No, not. If you permit, I can share this presentation to the participants. I think if it is okay.
We will discuss about that.
Sure.
So here, the other one was involving a lot of Interpol investigation, extradition happened. So maybe some information for them. But we will talk about, maybe we will put another session on such things. Foreign trade frauds, right? Thank you very much. Thank you for the patient hearing.